Today, we are diving into a truly remarkable document. It's a master plan, a 15-year blueprint to completely reshape the economy of West Africa. And, well, it comes with a price tag that is almost hard to comprehend.
And there it is, $3 trillion. That's a 3 with 12 zeros behind it. It's a number so huge it almost loses its meaning. But according to this plan, that's what it will cost to transform an entire subcontinent over the next decade and a half.
So that leads us to the single most important question, right? A plan this big needs capital on a scale we've almost never seen before. So where in the world is $3 trillion supposed to come from? Well, the document we're unpacking today lays out a very, very specific answer. Okay, let's get right into the heart of it, because this is where the plan makes some of its most, well, extraordinary claims. The entire funding model is built on something the document refers to as sovereign assets. And the scale of these assets is just mind-boggling. The document claims that this whole thing is backed by a sovereign entity, the Royal Borsi clan, which it says holds assets valued at over $500 trillion. Let me just put that in perspective for you. That's more than 5 times the GDP of the entire planet. This one claim is the absolute bedrock of the whole plan. And it gets even more specific. The text cites tangible assets, like 400,000 metric tons of sovereign gold. To give you an idea of how much that is, it's more than double all the gold that has ever been officially mined in all of human history. This is presented as a very real, very core part of the financial backing.
The source material is also filled with some really unique language. It references very specific master codes and transaction IDs, like the ones you're seeing here. According to the plan, these codes are literally the keys needed to unlock and manage these vast sovereign accounts.
So, to give this legal teeth, the document includes what's called a special power of attorney. It designates one individual, Frank Ojogwa Ekegwure, and grants him the sole legal authority to manage these assets and sign the deals needed to get this development plan off the ground. But okay, let's say you have these vast historical assets. How do you actually turn that into usable money for modern construction projects? The plan's answer is surprisingly a very high-tech, digital one. The document lays out a really clear 4-step process for how the capital flows. It starts with those Royal Borsi sovereign assets. From there, they're placed into the Ekegwure Estate Trust. That trust then funds something called the NVC Fund Bank, which, in turn, powers the final piece of this whole puzzle, a digital currency ecosystem. And right at the center of that digital ecosystem is the NVCT stablecoin. The document describes this as a digital currency, a stablecoin, backed by nearly $57 trillion in assets. This is positioned to be the financial engine of the whole operation, the thing that provides the actual real-time cash to pay for everything from power plants to programmers.
So, we've looked at the acclaimed source of the money and the proposed digital engine to move it around. Now for the big question. Where would that $3 trillion actually be spent? The plan breaks it down into 8 core pillars for transforming the entire region. And the allocations are just massive. You can see infrastructure and energy gets the biggest slice of the pie by far, at $900 billion. But that's followed by enormous investments in industrialization, agriculture, and human capital. I mean, it touches basically every single part of the economy. And if we zoom in on that biggest pillar, you see some truly nation-building level projects. We're talking about a regional supergrid to power the whole area, a high-speed rail line connecting major cities all the way from Lagos to Dakar, plus massive upgrades to critical seaports. The goal here is total physical connection. And the vision for the digital side is just as huge. The plan sees that NVCT stablecoin becoming the official digital reserve standard for the whole region. It also calls for building a land registry on the blockchain to secure property rights, and a full digital ID system for every citizen. It's about building a 21st century foundation. So, with all of this money and all of these projects, what's the end goal? What does success look like? The master plan finishes by projecting a radical, top-to-bottom transformation of West Africa's economy by the year 2041. This chart really shows you the scale of that ambition. The plan projects that the regional GDP will absolutely skyrocket, going from about $800 billion today to over $3.5 trillion. That's more than a 4-fold increase.
And what does an economic boom like that mean for everyday people? Well, the document projects that these investments will create somewhere between 60 and 80 million new jobs across the region.
And here's another key target: energy.
The plan aims for 95% electrification for the entire ECOWAS population. That's a foundational goal that would be a total game changer for quality of life, education, and business.
Now, this isn't all supposed to happen overnight. The plan is carefully broken down into 3 5-year phases. You start with the foundation, the energy, rail, and digital backbone. Then you move to expansion, building out industry and social services. And finally, you consolidate it all into a single, globally competitive economic bloc.
And the stated mission, the guiding principle for this whole massive undertaking, quoted directly from the source, is this: to operate in peace, without dishonor, by right of benefit, to protect the interests of all wards of the estate.
So, what we've just walked through is a truly breathtakingly ambitious plan. $3 trillion, based on claims of almost unimaginable sovereign wealth, all channeled through a futuristic digital currency to create a new global economic power. It really leaves us with one fascinating question. Is this the blueprint for a new economic era, or is it a revolution that so far exists only on paper?